Hey guys, Zeke the Geek, and I'm back again on Pokemon Showdown, where we're finally going to be doing a live team review for the Mega Charizard Y kind of Sun team. And yeah, it was kind of an interesting team because, right, Machamp Victory Bell completely uncommon, and even Machamp maybe is used in like a Trick Room team or something, but still just just interesting in general is what I'm trying to say here. But the thing is, there's nothing too special about this team, nor do I really have much to go about. So other than really like spreads, which a lot of them are very simple, and move sets and stuff, and just explaining what each Pokemon was able to contribute to the team while doing battles, there's not much else to go about on this team. So we're just going to start off with obviously the star, the Mega Charizard Y, with the ability Drought, of course, when it Mega Evolves, and it has Heat Wave, Solar Beam, Protect, and Tailwind. Now the whole point was Charizard almost always led, and the goal was to have Charizard survive for pretty much as long as the sun was up. Charizard needed to be alive. He had Heat Wave and Solar Beam, which is obviously very powerful, and the Sun Solar Beam not having to charge up, so coverage against the grass types, and the Heat Wave is just his stab, powerful hits. If you when in doubt, just Heat Wave away, because honestly that did mad damage. Obviously he is a flying and fire type, so he had a huge rock weakness, so that's why we went ahead and took Lando T for next. But before we go into that, I want to go over the spread. Now maybe some Charizard Ys are either more bulky or they're a timid, but I decided to go for 252 plus in special attack, simply because I wanted the Heat Waves and Solar Beams to just do mad damage and really destroy things. And plus, after Tailwind, I really didn't need this much speed, especially not timid, but I still had this just in case we couldn't get a Tailwind up. So Charizard Y was great, but the one problem was he's obviously weak to rock, lightning, and water. Now he can take a water hit very easily because of the sun, and a lightning hit pretty easily, and it's not that common, only on like Thunderous. So I decided a Lando T would be great because he deals with both rock and electric, and obviously I put Rock Slide, Earthquake, Superpower, U-Turn. Now he pretty much covered every rock type with that Earthquake and Superpower, so that was very nice. Obviously it's just a standard choice Scarf, Intimidating Set, Adamant, 252 speed, 252 plus attack, just straight up power. And it was really nice having him next to Charizard Y, just because, or even Hydreigon for that matter, just because of the Levitate, and I could Earthquake spam. So Lando T is very common Pokemon. I rarely use it, but I think if it fits on the team, it's good to use because it's a great Pokemon. Now I know this team kind of had an ice weakness in Lando T, Victory Bell, and Hydreigon, which wasn't that good, but I wasn't scared of it just because there's rarely any stab ice Pokemon out there, and Charizard would be able to deal with them. So, and I wasn't scared of a few HP ices running around, so that wasn't a problem. So let's get right into the next one. Victory Bell, obviously the one that probably everyone is wondering. I don't know why I have Hidden Power Ice. I'm going to be straight with you guys. I was like, oh, I need to deal with Lando T's HP Ice will do mad damage, but it's not stab, it's only 60 base power. It rarely picked up the Oko on a Lando T, I believe. Yeah, if it was, maybe it was a one-hit KO when the Lando T was just not, what's the word I'm looking for? Not assault vested, maybe, although I don't remember ever getting Okos for the HP Ice. So basically what it did was I could HP Ice one turn, Charizard protects, they go for a Rock Slide, so I don't have to worry about that first Rock Slide, and the second turn I can HP Ice again, knock out, and then Charizard can be okay to attack. So that was kind of my counter for Lando's T, because obviously he can Rock Slide Charizard Y as well. But not only that, Solar Beam, Sludge Bomb, Weather Ball, really great coverage. That's grass, poison, and fire. He could hit this Victory Bell, could almost hit anything for super effective damage, and Sludge Bomb, Solar Beam just do straight power. Obviously it's got Chlorophyll, so, and the Focus Sash, because this thing is frail as anything. Look at these defenses and pitiful HP. It never really took a hit. It would almost always drop to Sash, but that's okay. This speed obviously just gets doubled whenever it's in the sun. Now the one problem with this is two of its moves, Solar Beam and Weather Ball, are pretty much completely reliant on the sun, plus its speed is reliant on the sun, so that was not good. Also, 167 special attack isn't that great, but even then in the sun this Pokemon is deadly, but without the sun this Pokemon is pretty useless, so you had to make sure it was in the sun, but otherwise it could pull through. Now Hydreigon is just another Pokemon. It was just for coverage. I really needed the Dragon and Dark coverage just to beat anything that's weak to it, and plus I liked it because it had Levitate. I still had a Life Orb that I could give people, and I decided to go for a timid one just because I needed to outspeed other Hydreigons or just outspeed anything else that is normally gonna outspeed him. Also, this is the Hydreigon and Lando T are both like my outside of Tailwind Pokemon. They'll be fine. Obviously, Victory Bell doesn't need Tailwind either, but it needs Sun. So they all most of my Pokemon kind of need something other than Hydreigon and Lando T and Aegislash, but we'll go into Aegislash later. Earth Power, Dark Pulse, Draco Meteor was just great coverage and very good. I ran a Life Orb set because I don't like running a choiced Hydreigon. I'm not a fan of it. I really like Protect. I really like this spread. This is my favorite Hydreigon spread. Hydreigon is one of my favorite Pokemon, so this is definitely a Pokemon I love. Now onto the Aegislash. I'm not happy with Aegislash. I used it once, it got bodied, and the whole point of Aegislash is hope that they don't have a counter, or that they overpredict you when you're going to King's Shield and when you're not going to King's Shield. Now, this set pretty much almost always allowed it to take a super effective hit, almost always, not always, but almost always, and then it would pop its weakness policy, and then it would start being able to destroy things, and it could always just King Shield, and also Wide Guard was just another way to deal with a Rock Slide, just so Charizard Y would be okay, but I still found very few uses for this Pokemon, and overall just didn't really pull through as much as I would have hoped. So maybe I could have switched Aegislash for another Pokemon, but it was always there. It always threatened my opponents, so that was always good. Now onto the last Pokemon, the pride of this team. I just stuck him on to the end because I was like, I feel like using something really interesting. And I think that's something I'm going to start doing on most of my teams, is like maybe I'll build a team of 5 standard, although Victory Bell is definitely not standard, but 5 standard Pokemon, nice core, and then just plop on something interesting in the end like this. Machamp, look at this, 200 base power is insane. Dynamic Punch, just look at the okay, dynamic, there we go, look at the, it's no space, look at the raw power of that 100 base power. It always hits because of no guard, and it can always confuse, and then he has Bullet Punch, Knockoff, and Stone Edge. So Stone Edge never missed either, so that was great coverage just to have more rock, because we didn't have any Stab Rock, and Lando T's Rock Slide was not always enough. So Machamp was rarely beat by anything, only being weak to Flying, Psychic, and Fairy. I really like this, especially because it could Bullet Punch and take Fairy hits fairly well. It could also Flying types, it could just Stone Edge them, and there are rarely any Flying types. And then also what was the third one I said? Psychic types, I had Knockoff, so, and then Assault Vest just let him eat up hits, and now it's very interesting because I'm not running a bulky Machamp, but his natural bulk just lets him eat hits so well, it's insane. And this 252 speed here is just so I can get 107, so that when I get the Tailwind up, this thing will outspeed a Lando T, Choice, Scarf, Adamant. So yeah, very interesting. Machamp, star of this team, really came through. So that's a quick recap on the team. Now let's go over just what worked and what didn't. One thing I want to say is the rain matchup, or the other weather matchup. I think this team does very well against other weather because our weather doesn't start until Charizard Y Mega Evolves. So a lot of the time, what would happen is they either don't lead their rain / sand setter, so we're gonna use Politoed for example, like they don't lead Politoed, but they have it in the back, so if they either send it in now, the rain goes up, I Mega Evolve, the rain goes away that turn, or they don't even send it in, they wait for me to already Mega Evolve, but I already get a churn of Sun, and I don't mind that, plus I can always just switch out and switch back in, and maybe the switching war isn't too good, but it's one I could win because they can't always just target down Charizard Y when I'll have other threats on my team. And also getting rid of Politoed wasn't even that hard just because Victory Bell really dealt with it very easily, and then the rest of my Pokemon could take him out if they needed to. So other weather, if you didn't play it right, it could destroy you, but if you played it right, you could destroy them. I think that's just how weather wars go. I definitely suggest fighting the weather though, because obviously your Mega is your weather setter, so you kind of have to fight that war every time. But it's definitely a war that you can win, and one that you should always try to. So one thing to note is that Victory Bell is completely reliant on Sun. So always keep that in mind. Either have it in the back, knowing that the Sun is you're gonna have Sun when it comes back in, because you want at least 3 or 4 turns of Sun with this thing, especially because it has 2 turns guaranteed because of the Focus Sash. So definitely Sun reliant, but it's still very good. Now, other Megas. Obviously, I put Machamp just so I could deal with King. That was the first initial thought about it, but then I realized that Machamp doesn't get beat by anything really. No one's really prepared for these Assault Vest fighting types such as Hariyama, Conkeldurr, or Machamp. I just really like Machamp because I think it hits the hardest. Obviously, I'm not doing a bulky one, so that's why he hits so hard. But then also he still can eat up hits because Assault Vest and No Guard with these powerful moves. So Machamp was definitely good, and also that one game where I went against a minimized Chansey and stuff, I mean, if I didn't have Machamp, I would have been screwed. I had no way to take it out, but because of No Guard, I was able to deal with it, so that was very nice. Machamp was just definitely one of the best. Aegislash could be switched out for something, but I still don't know what. But other than that, that's basically the team. There's not much more to say. They either set up Tailwind and sweep, or they don't. So that's kind of why most of my titles of my live VGC were like set up and sweep, Sun Team Power, Machamp Power, because basically you just set up and sweep. That's really what this team does. Although not necessarily, 'cause sometimes I wouldn't necessarily be setting up. The only thing I'm really setting up is the Sun, which happens automatically, and maybe the Tailwind, but not always. I won a lot of the time without Tailwind. One thing you have to be careful of is other Tailwind teams. If you do see that, you should definitely get your Tailwind up just to kind of counteract theirs, just so you're on a level playing field, because this team, yes, it gets outsped sometimes, not always, gets outsped by certain things without Tailwind, but once you get a Tailwind up, fast Pokemon get destroyed by this team. If they don't have a bulky user, they're going to get eaten alive. Obviously, if they have their own Tailwind and they're a speedy team, that never really existed. So, overall, definitely great team. Maybe we'll see it again in a Sub-Sunday in the near future, but until then, this team will be in my Showdown teams, collecting dust until I decide to use it again. But next week, we will definitely be doing a live team builder. I haven't quite decided what Mega I want to use, but I'm planning on using a Mega that's not necessarily always used. I've been thinking either Gallade, maybe Medicham, whichever one I decide is better, or even like a Gyarados or something. I haven't decided yet. We'll decide soon. So please leave a like on the video if you guys enjoyed, because that is going to be all. I don't really have much to say about this team. Again, sorry, but at least you guys got to see it and kind of got to hear me talk about it a little bit. But other than that, I'm going to get up out, so subscribe because I'll continue to post daily, and goodbye.